if it, what happens if I stay full screen, yeah. Can you border this window? Alright, that works. Just gotta capture it. First when you click out of it. There we go. So people have been recommending this game for a long time, but you know, ultimately made me make the decision to play it is someone compared it to Severance, and I was like, okay, I'm in. That's how much I like Severance. I was like, wait, there's a game that's like Severance, I'm in. As the credits option here, did I beat the game? GG. So what were my other flavors of Mountain Dew? We have the ginger snap and the melon. But what was the other? There's one more. Well, I'll look it up here. Look at my picture. The voltage, the raspberry. I think we go ginger snaps next because that's going to be the weird one. We'll do some ginger snapped in a minute. I know I don't like melons, so I'm not going to like it. Dan! Thank you for the 45 months, Dan. I heard a rumor that maybe those Post-its are going out, so no, I don't like melon. I don't like cantaloupe. I don't like watermelon. I don't like honeydew. I don't like what's up, Hot Dog Storm? What else? Is there any other melons? Here's a bigger question. Does watermelon flavor taste like watermelon? Because to me they don't taste alike, but I also don't like either, so maybe they do. Not at all. Okay. So it's just a coincidence that I don't like watermelon and I don't like watermelon flavoring. Well, you do not want to look up if it's natural strawberry flavoring. You do not want to know. You do not want to know about that one. Trust me. It's about as bad as it could possibly get. That's true. Yeah, you're right. Banana is kind of like, it has like an essence of like a dried banana, but it doesn't taste like a normal banana. No, strawberries are sour. Like you have to get a really, really good strawberry for it to not be sour. Most strawberries are sour. You mean bananas? The atheist nightmare? Well, if I mean, maybe I'm hoping that it's no longer true, but at least at one time, natural strawberry flavor was like some flavor derived from the anal glands of a beaver. I hope that's like of the past, but it really wasn't that long ago that I heard that, so it probably still true. So, artificial flavors forever. That's not in your search history already, Kyle? Look it up, man. I'm pretty sure it's the case. It's like when you find out that that like Jello's made out of hooves. And skin, boiled skin. Yeah, they said that Subway bread, and they also say you can't call it bread because it didn't have enough bread ingredients. But I mean, I like Subway bread. So. And to me, it doesn't say. I mean, like, it doesn't say that. To me, that doesn't mean that the bread is bad. It means that the yoga mats are, or like, organic or something. Just because they use like a food product in a mat, you look at it. You just look at it the other way. It's like both things can be true. I was watching some of that, like the Johnny Depp Amber Heard stuff, and it's crazy that people are like on either one of their sides, because it's just like that. It's like, it's like both of them can be kind of right. Like both of them are probably telling like parts of the truth, and they're both probably not great. What's up, Jeepicus? All right, let's load this game.
This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. Okay, this is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the
There must be, because I hear it too, Hot Dog Storm.
As though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy. And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say,
"What up, Jeebs?"
Never in all his years at the company had this happened. This complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong.
I don't hear it now, but I heard it at the beginning.
Frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
All right, let's... It's maybe because I have it on headphones that it sounds like... Broke his Xbox? What do you mean? I mean, most of you guys are probably on 2 speakers, right? Actually, let me check this too, because it's going through my desktop audio. I'll make sure I don't have any filters on it, because that could also... Nope, no filters. Hello? Okay, stepped up from our desk.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
It's like a day off. Oh no. Is it an Xbox One?
No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
One X? Yeah, shouldn't it just be an easy swap? I don't think you can break it. It's supposed to be, you're meant to do that. I took apart my original Xbox to like replace a capacitor in it. Or not even to replace it, just to remove a capacitor. And I put it back together and I had messed up the mod. So I had to research this 20-year-old mod and how to repair it. Because I had to figure out, I figured out that one of the solders came loose, but I didn't know what pen to solder to. So I had to like look up all this like really old blog. Dang, I hope he's got insurance. Dude, I bought 2 wired Xbox 360 controllers from Amazon. They're like off-brand, but that's all you can buy these days. And I've had them for 6 weeks, and both of them have broken.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
I already want to break the rules of the narrator here. No, I wasn't on GeoCities. All that stuff's offline. Hey, Toxic. What if you just take the hard drive out? What happens? Does it have to have a hard drive? Can you put the original back in? I don't know. I did the same thing with my I could tell my TiVo that the hard drive was going to die, so I bought like all this equipment for it to like clone the hard drive and swap in a new one, and it didn't work. And I was just like, well, the end. I just gave up.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
It's weird that it's that much trouble. I thought the whole point was that you could swap out the hard drives. Like I thought you just put the new one in. I'm the most unique. Yeah, the PS5 is kind of specific about the drives that you use, but it's different because it's like an M2 drive. Broom closet. Oh shoot, which way did he say to go?
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
I feel like such a puppet just following along what he says. I want to break every rule. I bet I would get a lot of achievements if I broke every rule. Well, they might help you out, like support or whatever. Just say, hey, I was trying to do this thing. Because, like, they support that, right? I mean, they support hard drive upgrades and swaps. I see Major Nelson tweeting deals on hard drives all the time. So this is his fault. DM Major Nelson.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this, what dark secret was being held from him. What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this. Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
I assume I actually like have to make my own decisions at some point. But... well, hopefully you can just put the as long as you can put the original one back in, it won't be as bad. I mean, like that's like worst case. You just put the original one back in, sell the hard drive. Yeah, you messed up. This reminds me of Subliminal. That's what it was called, right? Oh, superliminal. Sorry, superliminal.
Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long.
A few days ago, I guess they released an updated version of this game. Would make new stuff in it.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
You were desoldering stuff? I thought you just swapped stuff. Like, I thought it was like literally just like take one out and swap it in. Dude, I think we should just escape. Did you watch a YouTube video or not? All right, I'm already ready for a ginger snack. Mountain Dew gingerbread snapped with a blast of artificial gingerbread flavor. We just talked about artificial's better. No anal glands. Mountain Dew ginger snap. Looks a little gingerbread man. It's like he's wearing like Christmas outfits too. It seems like they just missed the holidays. Like it's snowy and stuff. Like I mean, gingerbreads aren't exclusively Christmassy, are they? Oh. Oh, thank God, Hot Dog Storm. Thank you. It was like on a 2020. I watched a video. They're talking about like artificial flavorings and like people who were designing artificial flavors and stuff, and what the difference between artificial and natural meant. And like labeling and stuff like that, and that's where they talked about it. Because there's like all the people who have to come up with like this tastes like this, and like come up with those artificial flavors. Dude, for real. It tastes like gingerbread. Oh, that's weird, man. It tastes like peppercocker. Yatta bra. Dude, it tastes like drinking a peppercocker. That is weird. I don't like love gingerbread, like ginger ale. So it's like a variation of ginger ale. I feel like I should just escape. I mean, I don't know. We don't want to go to mind control. Let's just escape.
Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death.
Ah, what's the worst that could happen?
The door behind him was not shut. Stanley still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track. At this point, Stanley was making a conscious, concerted effort to walk forward and willingly confront his death.
Nay, I didn't die. Oh.
As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley was inched closer and closer to his demise, he reflected that his life had been of no consequence whatsoever. Stanley can't see the bigger picture. He doesn't know the real story, trapped forever in his narrow vision of what this world is. Perhaps his death was of no great loss, like plucking the eyeballs from a blind man. And so he resigned and willingly accepted this violent end to his brief and shallow life. Farewell, Stanley.
"Farewell, Stanley," cried the narrator, as Stanley was led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, Stanley was obliterated as the machine crushed every bone in his body, killing him instantly.
Oh. Except that it didn't.
And yet it would be just a few minutes before Stanley would restart the game, back in his office, as alive as ever. What exactly did the narrator think he was going to accomplish? When every path you can walk has been created for you long in advance, death becomes meaningless, making life the same. Do you see now? Do you see that Stanley was already dead from the moment he hit start?
Perhaps. Yeah, that's as far as I made it. So am I the only one who hasn't played this? No, I don't think Timar's played this. Credits. I'm confused if this is like the natural way to go. I assume it, like this feels like bonus content after you beat a game. Like it's showing all the endings. So maybe I just found one of the endings.
Oh, look at these two. How they wish to destroy one another. How they wish to control one another. How they both wish to be free. Can you see? Can you see how much they need one another? No, perhaps not. Sometimes these things.
Yeah, you got to
cannot
buy
be
the right
seen.
ones.
But listen to me. You can still save these two. You can stop the program
Well, I'm
before
back
they
in here
both
now.
fail. Push escape and press quit. There's no other way to beat this game. As long as you move forward, you'll be walking someone else's path. Stop now and it'll be your only true choice. Whatever you do, choose it. Don't let time choose for you. Don't let time.
I don't know what is happening at all.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
I'm going to assume you just keep doing stuff until you kind of figure out an interesting path.
When Stanley came to a set
So,
of
for
two
example,
open
here I'm going to go to
doors,
the right
this
side.
was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Ah, yes, truly a room worth admiring. It had really been worth the detour after all, just to spend a few moments here in this immaculate, beautifully constructed room. Stanley simply stood here, drinking it all in.
Drinking it in? Don't mind if I do.
Yes, really, really worth it being here in the room. A room so utterly captivating that even though all your co-workers have mysteriously vanished, but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Yes. That is... That's the one that's just like, just straight up puzzle rooms, right? Like you're just like going from room to room, and I did not get
Stanley
very
was
far.
so bad
I
at
tried,
following
but
directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
I didn't get very far in that. Like I did a bunch of stuff and I got kind of stuck after a while, and I was like, I don't understand this. I'm never gonna beat this. Like I don't think I solved any of the main tasks that they wanted me to.
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting,
See, I could drop
Stanley.
off here.
Someone you've forgotten about. Please, stop trying to make every decision by yourself. Now, I'm not asking for me, I'm asking for her. This is it, Stanley. Your chance to redeem yourself, to put your work aside, to let her back into your life. She's been waiting.
I did consider, so the reason I'm playing this is because I didn't realize it, but I have this game. It was free at some point on Epic Game Store. And I noticed it in my collection. I was like, oh, really? Okay. And I also have The Witness, I think probably on the PlayStation and on Epic Game Store both, but I played it when it first came out, and I liked it. So I was like looking at that today. I was like, man, has it been long enough that I could play The Witness again and like kind of enjoy it freshly? I'm not sure that it is, because I still remember a lot of the concepts, so I'm not sure. But I really like The Witness. I just beat it dry. I did everything, like all the main stuff, and beat the game. But I didn't do the unnecessary stuff, which is probably what you're asking about. Like, you don't have to do everything to get to the end of the game, but I did do everything. You know what I'm saying. But they don't tell you till you get right at the end. Like when you get right at the end, and they give you one chance to like really see, and I did do that, and I was like, oh, but I didn't bother. I was like, there's too much. And I was like, oh man, now I get that. I get what they're saying here. But yeah, that's kind of optional stuff. Because I had noticed the world, but I just kind of thought, like, when I saw stuff like that, I was like, oh, this is like the lore of the world. Like, this is just the world I'm in, right? Because it makes sense. Like, it just connected to the puzzles. Like, this is just the way the puzzles are because this is the way the world is. So I didn't look at it any further than that, but that was cool. That was a cool thing to see.
That's her, Stanley. You need to be the one to do this, to reach out to her. If you can truly place your faith in
The
another,
phone is plugged into an outlet.
then pick up the phone.
Oh, Stanley, is that you? Hold on, sweetie. Sorry to keep you waiting. I'm just pulling the bread out of the oven. All right. Okay, there we go. All right, now, I want you to come in and tell me all about your day.
Gotcha. Oh, come on. Did you actually think you had a loving wife who'd want to commit their life to you? I'm trying to make a point here, Stanley. I'm trying to get you to see something. Come inside. Let me show you what's really going on here.
That's messed up.
This is a very sad story about the death of a man named Stanley. Stanley is quite a boring fellow. He has a job that demands nothing of him, and every button that he pushes is a reminder of the inconsequential nature of his existence. Look at him there, pushing buttons, doing exactly what he's told to do.
Mocking me.
Now he's pushing a button. Now he's eating lunch. Now he's going home. Now he's coming back to work. One might even feel sorry for him, except that he's chosen this life.
Skittle Brie. Thank you for the resubscription. 55. That was the number on the bus, Jeeves.
But in his mind, he can go on fantastic adventures. From behind his desk, Stanley dreamed of wild expeditions into the unknown, fantastic discoveries of new lands. It was wonderful, and each day that he returned to work was a reminder that none of it would ever happen to him.
Ooh, I don't mind if I do.
And so he began to fantasize about his own job. First, he imagined that one day while at work, he stepped up from his desk to realize that all of his co-workers, his boss, everyone in the building had suddenly vanished off the face of the earth.
It's like Home Alone.
The thought excited him terribly.
I made my family disappear. Spend time with the boys. I wonder where the bus is. Like, think they parked it on a farm, or you think they drove it into the river?
So he went further. He imagined that he came to two open doors and that he could go through either. At last, choice. It barely even mattered what lay behind each door. The mere thought that his decisions would mean something was almost too wonderful to behold. As he wandered through this fantasy world, he began to fill it with many possible paths and destinations. Down one path lay an enormous round room with monitors and mind controls. And down another was a yellow line that weaved in many directions. And down another was a game with a baby. And he called it the Stanley Parable. It was such a wonderful fantasy, and so in his head he relived it again, and then again, and again, over and over, wishing beyond hope that it would never end, that he might always feel this free. Surely there's an answer down some new path, mustn't there be? Perhaps if he played just one more time.
Well, we found the ignition cover in the yard. So I think he got hot wired. Screwdriver started or something.
But there is no answer. How could there possibly be? In reality, all he's doing is pushing the same buttons he always has. Nothing has changed. The longer he spends here, the more invested he gets, the more he forgets which life is the real one.
I mean, I tried pressing different buttons here.
And I'm trying to tell him this, that in this world he can never be anything but an observer, that as long as he remains here, he's slowly killing himself. But he won't listen to me. He won't stop. Here, watch this. Stanley, the next time the screen asks you to push a button, do not do it.
I already tried earlier not pressing a button. I guess I'll listen without breaking the rules. How long do I have to wait? It's going to call me a coward because I end up pressing the button. And
You see? Can he just not hear me? How can I tell him in a way that he'll understand that every second he remains here, he's electing to kill himself? How can I get him to see what I see? How can I make him look at himself?
I'm at work again.
I suppose I can't, not in the way I want him to. But I don't make the rules. I simply play to my intended purpose, the same as Stanley. We're not so different, I suppose. I'll try once more to convey all this to him. I'm compelled to. I must. Perhaps, well, maybe this time he'll see. Maybe this time. And I tried again, and Stanley pushed a button. And I tried again, and Stanley pushed a button. And I tried.
Yeah, I'm really confused. Alright, maybe I don't want to go that way.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
I'm going to try
When Stanley
something
came
here.
to a set of two open, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Wow, yes, this room. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
Years ago.
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've got.
I'm going to drop off here and go down this door. It's calling to me.
Really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. What? Really? I was in the middle of
guy's
something.
voice.
Do you have zero consideration for others? Are you that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you? Why, I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful. Look, let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm on your side. Give me a chance.
I work with a British guy, and this narrator is reminding me of him.
Now listen carefully, this is important. Stanley walked through the red door.
Oh, crap. Oh, I'm going to trust you.
Oh, thank God you are willing to listen to me. Do you see that I really have wanted you to be happy all this time? The problem is all these choices. The two of us always trying to get somewhere that isn't here. Running and running and running, just the way
I'm
you're doing right
trapped.
now. Don't you see that it's killing us, Stanley? I wanted to stop. We would both be so much happier if we just stopped. And I think I have a solution. Here, let me show you. What do we want? What are we looking for? Here. Oh, it's beautiful, isn't it? If we just stay right here, right in this moment with this place, Stanley, I think I feel happy. I actually feel happy.
Who comes up with this stuff? Alright, well, I'm tired of being happy. Back to work. Nope. More colors, though. I do like colors. Okay, back to work.
No, wait. Where are you going? Oh, no. Stay away from those stairs. If you hurt yourself, if you die, the game will reset. We'll lose all of this.
Okay, I won't hurt myself then. Be careful.
Please, no, Stanley, let me stay here. Don't take this from me.
Oh, no. Dark Souls.
Please, Stanley, think
Four
about
kings
what you're
incoming.
doing. No! Oh, thank God.
Hey, I
You
lived.
lived. You had me worried there for a moment. Now, can we please get back to the other room?
Should I do it again?
No. No, what are you doing, Stanley? Please, I'm asking you not to take this away from me. I can't go back to what I was before. If you die, we'll both go back. Why are you doing this?
Alright, one more time. Whee!
Stanley, let's go back to the other room.
Okay, I'll go back.
Can you do that for me? Yes, perhaps you can. Perhaps you finally see what I'm talking about. I know you'll see that we can't be happy if we leave this place. You can see that, can't you?
Can I jump off of this? No. Alright, well, I'm kind of stuck here. Let's go back in.
No, perhaps not. My God, is this really how much you dislike my game? That you'll throw yourself from this platform over and over to be rid of it? You are literally willing to
Just
kill
open this
yourself
door.
to keep me from being happy. Am I reading the situation correctly? Or maybe you're just getting a kick out of it. I don't know anymore. I just wanted us to get along. But I guess that was too much to ask. It looks like you wanted to make a choice after all. Well, this one is yours. Is it over? It's going to restart, isn't it? I'm going back. Wait, Stanley thought to himself. Am I sure that the orders stopped coming in? How is that possible?
It's new narration
They
this
never
time.
stopped. Surely I was mistaken. No, the orders were still missing. for now.
So what now? I can just do whatever I
When
want.
Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
I kind of want to go back and do the blue room, but
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office. But Stanley just couldn't do it. He
get outta
considered the
here.
possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work
How'd they
hours.
get this car
He
in
might
here?
be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all? None of it made any logical sense. And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down? Why did doors close automatically behind him wherever he went? And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeating? No, Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange. This can't be real. And at last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it. I'm dreaming, he yelled. This is all a dream. Oh, what a relief. Stanley
I
felt.
declare this is a
Finally
dream.
found an answer, an explanation. His co-workers weren't actually gone. He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all. And he thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid. So, he imagined himself flying and began to gently float above the ground.
Oh,
Then he imagined himself soaring through space on a magical starfield, and it too appeared. It was so much fun, and Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up. How was he remaining so lucid? And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking? Now the voice was describing itself being considered by Stanley, who found it particularly strange. I'm dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought. And while he thought it all very odd and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams, the truth was that, of course, this was not a dream. How could it be? Was Stanley simply deceiving himself, believing that if he's asleep, he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself? Stanley is as awake right now as he's ever been in his life. Now, hearing the voice speak these words was quite a shock to Stanley. After all, he knew for certain, beyond a doubt, that this was in fact a dream. Did the voice not see him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that? This voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just... He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control, that this was a dream. So he closed his eyes gently, and he invited himself to wake up. He felt the cool weight of the blanket on his skin, the press of the mattress on his back, the fresh air of a world outside this one. Let me wake up, he thought to himself. I'm through with this dream. I wish it to be over. Let me go back to my job. Let me continue pushing the buttons. Please, it's all I want. I want my apartment and my wife and my job. All I want is my life exactly the way it's always been. My life is normal. I am normal. Everything will be fine. I am okay.
no.
Stanley began screaming. "Please, someone, wake me up. My name is Stanley. I have a boss. I have an office. I am real. Please, just someone tell me I am real. I must be
I'm
real.
a real
I must
boy.
be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I? Who am I?" And everything went black. This is the story of a woman named Mariella. Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. And although she would soon turn to go call for an ambulance, for just a few brief moments she considered the strange man. He was obviously crazy, this much she knew. Everyone knows what crazy people look like. And in that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane. I am in control of my mind. I know what is real and what isn't. It was comforting to think this, and in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better. But then she remembered the meeting she had scheduled for that day, the very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career, and by extension, the rest of her life. She had no time for this, so it was only a moment that she stood there, staring down at the body. And then she turned and ran.
All right. Oop, phone's ringing.
Hi, Stanley. Just wanted to leave you a message to let you know there's a few things I need you to pick up on your way home from work today. We need milk,
This
cereal,
isn't Stanley's
dish soap,
phone.
spaghetti, get a thing of sugar, some bread, and coffee beans, whichever ones you like. I'll give you a call if there's anything I forgot. Thanks, sweetie. See you tonight.
I wasn't listening. Sugar? We opening these other doors?
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
So I didn't go to the mind control room, and I didn't go through the blue door. The other way. Let's just go this way for now.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Hoping he'd coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office. Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. What could it mean? Stanley wondered aloud. Stanley was in such a rush to get through the story as quickly as possible, he didn't even have a single minute to just let the narrator talk. That kind of anxiety isn't healthy, so he relaxed for a few moments with some calming New Age music.
Hopefully when I there is an ending to this game, like I'll know when I beat it.
Feeling soothed and rejuvenated, Stanley calmly walked forward into the opened passageway. Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility. The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself.
My dream.
Did he have the strength to find out?
A YouTube video on every one of them.
Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
Freedom isn't free.
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly? No. He refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never. It was unthinkable. Wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world? But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
Maybe? It's a code? One, two, three, four. 5.
And when at last he found the source of the room's power, he knew it was his duty, his obligation, to put an end to this horrible place and to everything it stood for. Blackness and a rising chill of uncertainty. Was it over? Yes. He had won. He had defeated the machine.
Skeptical.
Unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away. And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved. Where had his co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him, for it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go. No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel. Whatever life he lives, it will be his. And that was all he needed to know. It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door.
It's like the end of Roger Rabbit here.
Stanley felt the cool breeze upon his skin, the feeling of liberation, the immense possibility of the new path before him. This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen. And Stanley was happy.
Hey, I beat the game. What? I got the achievement for beating the game. And yet, here I am.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
So I didn't solve any mysteries yet.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Kind of want to go back to there.
Okay, I think we all know the drill by now. Blah, blah, blah. Dark secrets, the keypad. Stanley pushes some buttons. Oh, hey, look, it's a new passageway. Quelle surprise.
At least it remembers that I've done this. I don't even know what to do. What's even happening in this game?
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Hey, Apollo.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens.
Well, I managed to, like,
horrible secret
I get an ending,
Stanley
I feel
thought
like.
to himself. Did he have the
Like
strength
right
to find out?
at this, like the first thing I did. So I'm just confused. Like, is it meant to keep going? I guess.
Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing. This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to
Like the
accept
how long
it
to beat for this
blindly?
game was kind of confusing too, because it was like 1
No.
hour.
He refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in
Or
someone
7
else's
hours.
control? Never. It was unthinkable, wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world? But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls
So we
labeled
got 1,
with
2, 3,
emotions.
4, 5
Happy
numbers.
or sad or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. for he
I mean, there's a lot
would
of numbers here, but
dismantle
they all
the
have zeros
controls
in them.
once and for all.
What if I press 521? Maybe I need to turn the power on instead of off too. That's another option. Yeah, that'd do jack squat. I'm gonna turn it on, just see what happens.
And when at last he found the source of the room's... Oh, Stanley, you didn't just activate the controls, did you? After they kept you enslaved all these years, you go and you try to take control of the machine for yourself. Is that what you wanted? Control? Oh, Stanley, I applaud your effort, I really do. But you need to understand, there's only so much that machine can do. You were supposed to let it go, turn the controls off, and leave. If you want to throw my story off track, you're going to have to do much better than that. I'm afraid you don't have nearly the power you think you do. For example, and I believe you'll find this pertinent, Stanley suddenly realized he had just initiated the network's emergency detonation system. In the event that this machine is activated without proper DNA identification, nuclear detonators are set to explode, eliminating the entire complex. How long until detonation then? Let's say 2 minutes. Now this is making things a little more fun, isn't it, Stanley? It's your time to shine. You are the star. It's your story now. Shape it to your heart's desires. Oh, this is much better than what I had in mind. What a shame we have so little time left to enjoy it. Mere moments until the bomb goes off.
3.
But what precious moments each one of them is. More time to talk about you, about me, where we're going.
You don't like it?
What all this means. I barely know where to start. What's that? You'd like to know where your co-workers are? A moment of solace before you're obliterated? All right, I'm in a good mood. You're gonna die anyway.
Dark
I'll
blue
tell you
1.
exactly what happened to them. I erased them. I turned off the machine. I set you free.
What?
Of course, that was merely in this instance of the story.
Light
Sometimes
blue
when I
2?
tell it, I simply let you sit there in your office forever, pushing buttons endlessly and
Light
then
blue
dying
22?
alone. Other times, I let the office sink
What?
into the ground, swallowing everyone
Orange
inside, or I let it burn to
71?
a crisp. I have to say this, though, this version of events has been rather amusing. Watching you try to make sense of everything and take back the control wrested away from you, it's quite rich. I almost hate to see it go. But I'm sure whatever I come up with on the next go-around will
Green
be even
2.
better. My goodness, only 34 seconds left. But I'm enjoying this so much. You know what? To hell with it.
Yeah, that's
I'm
why I
going to put
decided
some
to play it,
extra
Mitch,
time
because
on
it
the
was,
clock. Why
it is
not?
mentioned it was like
These
Severance.
are precious additional seconds, Stanley. Time doesn't grow.
It still
on
says
trees.
green too.
Oh dear me, what's the matter, Stanley? Is it that you have no idea where you're going or what you're supposed to be doing right now?
Yes, it is the
Or
problem.
did you just assume when you saw that timer that something in this room was capable of turning it off?
I did.
I mean, look at you. Running from button to button, screen to screen, clicking on every little thing in this room. These numbered buttons, no, these colored ones. Or maybe this big red button, or this door. Everything, anything, something here will save me. Why would you think that, Stanley? That this video game can be beaten? Won? Solved? Do you have any idea what your purpose in this place is?
It's just mocking me.
Stanley. You're
Green
in for
too.
quite a disappointment. But here's a spoiler for you. That timer isn't a catalyst to keep the action moving along. It's just seconds ticking away to your death. You're only still playing instead of watching a cutscene because I want to watch you
Red
for every
3.
moment that you're powerless. To see you made humble. This is not a challenge. It's a tragedy. You wanted to control this world, that's fine. But I'm going to destroy it first, so you can't. Take a look at the clock, Stanley. That's 30 seconds you have left to struggle. 30 seconds until a big boom and then nothing. No ending here, just you being blown to pieces. Will you cling desperately to your frail life, or will you let it go peacefully? Another choice. Make it count, or don't. It's all the same to me, all a part of the joke. And believe me, I will be laughing at every second of your inevitable life from the moment we fade in until the moment I say, happily ever up.
Yeah, they re-released this game, I guess, with some extra content and stuff. I saw a lot of people playing it. I want to do that again, but solid.
Stanley knew the office layout like the back of his hand. It was only a matter of time before he found the others, wherever they were. Just a matter of time.
They're here?
When Stanley came to a set of
So I can only assume that I did
this was not the correct way to the meeting room.
get
and
an
Stanley
ending,
knew it
but
perfectly well.
it's just saying
Perhaps
like
he
I
wanted
could
to stop
find
by the
another
employee
ending.
lounge first, just to admire it. The lounge was sublime, a work of art. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. And so he detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back on track.
Yeah, that's what ultimately sold me about this. So someone said like,
But Stanley didn't
Stanley
want to go
Parable's
back
like
to the
Severance.
office. He wanted to wander about and get even further off
Hey,
track.
Mr. Leo.
So now in order to get back, he needed to go, from here it's, left. Oh, no. No,
Ugh.
it's to the right. My mistake.
It's gonna do it again.
No,
I knew it.
No, not the right.
I didn't fall for that
Why
one.
would I have ever said it was to the right? What was I thinking? It's clearly... Oh dear, would you hold on for a minute, please? Now, let's see. We went down right, left, down, left, right. Yep, okay, yes. I've got it now. This story is absolutely, definitely this way.
If this car ran over me, it would be hilarious. If I were making the game, that's what happened when that door opened. Ooh, I'm up here.
No. This isn't right at all. You're not supposed to be here yet. This is all a spoiler. Quick, Stanley, close your eyes.
I've already done this.
Okay. We just have to get back to, oh, who am I kidding? It's all rubbish now. The whole story completely unusable. How about, rather than waste my time trying to salvage this nonsense, we'll just restart the game from the beginning. And this time, suppose we don't wander so far off track, Okay, from the top. All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
I kind of want to go back to the
decided to go to
escape
the
thing because I
meeting
can't
room.
remember
Perhaps
now
he had
since it was
simply
the
missed
first
the
thing I
memo.
chose, what my options were. It felt like there weren't any options.
When Stanley... Wait,
What? What?
No, I restarted. I swear, I definitely restarted the game over, completely fresh. Everything should be... Oh, did something change? Stanley, did you change anything when we were back in that room with all the monitors? Did you move the story somewhere, or... Hold on. Why am I asking you? I'm the one who wrote the story. It was right here just a minute ago. I know for sure that it's here somewhere. Okay, then. It's an adventure. Come,
Oh,
Stanley.
jeez.
Let's find the story.
This one. Ugh. Well, let's go right. Oh no, I'm hopelessly lost already. Oh god.
I'll say it. This is the worst adventure I've ever been on. I can promise you there definitely was a story here before. Do we need to restart the game again? Well, I find it
Back here
unlikely
again.
that we'll ever progress by starting over and over again, but it's got to be better than this. Okay, let's give it a shot. Why not?
VR, yeah, could be.
All of his co-workers were gone.
Isn't
What
everything?
could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
When you adjust, like, I think it's on the quality settings of YouTube on your phone, you can select like watch in VR or whatever. And I had the I had the Johnny Depp trial on the phone, and it was like I clicked on the settings and the VR thing came up. I just was like, I could put the trial in VR on my headset. Like, why would I do that? It was just such a funny idea to me. It's like yeah, this is getting a little boring. Let's immerse ourselves. It's like, that's good testimony. Objection!
Okay, yep, it's worse. I might be remembering this wrong. It's possible the story is back where we just came from. Why don't we go back the other direction and see if we missed anything?
It does make me realize that, like, if the OJ trial happened now, it would only have been bigger. Like, it wouldn't have been smaller with more distractions. It just would have been bigger. There would have been so much more ways people could, like, monetize it for themselves, and it just would have been bigger. Because this Johnny Depp trial is boring. Like, it's stupid. The OJ one was a much bigger deal. Yeah, there's been some funny edits. I mean, that's the only way to enjoy any of it, is that just look at the edits, because the reality is not interesting. Yeah, I was a freshman in high school, and they a teacher didn't want to turn it on. I was like, "Are you kidding me? Come on, you have to turn this on." And so he did. He reluctantly turned it on to let us watch. I was like, "How could you not even like want to turn it on? Like, how would you not even want to see the verdict? Like, come on, man." And we got him to turn it on, and we watched it. And like, that's what I didn't fully appreciate like like how people viewed the trial until right at that moment. Because like the verdict came out, and within, I think class ended like maybe 10 minutes later, and I went out into the hallways, and I went to a pretty diverse high school, and the reaction varied a lot. Like, because I was over there like, wow, I can't believe that. Like, that was just kind of my reaction, like, that's crazy, man. But like, there were people like standing up on the benches. Like, I remember this one kid, I don't think he took his shirt off. He must have had a separate shirt, but he was like up on a bench, like swirling his shirt around in the air. He was so excited. And I was like, oh, okay. Like, that trial went absolutely forever, but that summer, because I think, when did the verdict probably happened, like in the fall, maybe like the very early in the year, I think, in the school year. But like that summer, I was at my dad's in Oklahoma, and so like I didn't have anything to do. I just watched the trial all day. I had the trial on TV all day. It was definitely in the afternoon, but I don't remember if it was like, I mean, it was probably one of the last classes of the day, yeah. We weren't that worked up. We were all just kids, like, but it's still like people had a reaction to it. What's up, creature? Yeah, I said I didn't find it very hot either. It's not bad or anything, but wasn't hot. Yeah, I feel like as a pop culture addict like I am, I feel bad because I missed the Bronco chase. I was out with my cousin. We were hanging out, having a good time, and I didn't. We came back to his house, and the Bronco was like already at the house, so I missed the whole thing, and I feel like I lost out on something that night. Like that's like a cultural moment because everybody remembers the Bronco chase, and I can only imagine like in the moment because you're just like, what the hell's gonna happen here? Like that's O.J. Simpson driving down the highway. What the hell's going on? Like that would have been a crazy moment, and like the fact that I didn't find out about it until he'd already parked there, and I'm like, what's the big deal? He's just parked at his house. Yeah, I just did. Creature, got it right here. It does taste like gingerbread. It tastes like peppercocker, if you ever had that. Those peppercocker cookies, Swedish cookies. So it tastes like ginger ale, but it has but with that kind of gingerbread cinnamon flavor, whatever. I don't know. I mean, my wife thought it was disgusting. She just tried it. I don't think it's that bad. And if you're kind of lukewarm on ginger ale, I could see liking this. Yeah, peppercockers they're just called pepper cookies, but you get them at IKEA. I mean, they're just little like gingerbread cookies, like kind of dry, stiff cookies. Maybe a star shape or a circle, and you can like break them in your hand. These are all flat, crunchy.
Aha! I knew we'd miss something. The story. Here it comes. No, wait, never mind. Not the story. Okay, let's head back the other way and retrace our steps.
I watched that. Was it A&E series? The mini series about the OJ trial. I thought that was pretty good.
Now this, well, I'll be honest, I don't recognize this place
In a
at all.
ridiculous way.
Just
like the trial is
I
ridiculous.
don't think so. I can't quite recall, but I believe my story took place in an office building. Is that correct? Do you remember, Stanley? Well, do you know what?
Yeah, or Cuba
Since
Gooding
I've
Jr.,
completely
yeah.
forgotten what we were
Or
supposed
he was
to be
OJ.
doing, how about this? You win! Congratulations!
Yay!
I know you put in a lot of hard work, and it really paid off, so good job. Oh, no.
Travolta's a
I
weird
don't
guy,
feel
man.
right about this at all. We both know you didn't put in any actual work for that win. Some people win fair and square, and this was not one of those situations. Okay, I'm getting weirded out by whatever this place is. I don't care what might happen this time. I have to restart.
Yeah, I watched The Last Dance. I thought that was fun. From the same time period, really.
All right, I've got a solution. This time, to make sure we don't get lost, I've employed the help of the Stanley Parable Adventure Line. Just follow the line. How simple is that?
I feel like I should have done all this stuff first instead of what I already did. Like, cause this is like more like pushing me towards a narrative here. They're doing a Magic Johnson one, Toxic, on Apple TV Plus, whatever it is, about the Showtime Lakers. I imagine they did it specifically because it's of how popular The Last Dance was. I watched these YouTube. I don't know why I even looked it up, but I think it was because I've been watching that Winning Time series on HBO that's about the Lakers, and they talk about Larry Bird a little bit in it. And I remember that Larry Bird is just like a notorious trash talker. And so I looked up I pulled up some YouTube videos of him, like of the most notorious Larry Bird trash talk moments or whatever. And it's all these people talking about like Larry Bird just talking trash to them and saying like, I'm going to hit this shot right here in your face, and then doing it and stuff. And so now my YouTube recommendations have been just totally demolished since then. But There's a lot of videos about Larry Bird.
You see, the line knows where the story is. It's over in this direction. Onward, Stanley, to destiny. Though, here's a thought. Wouldn't wherever we end up be our destination, even if there's no story there? Or to put it another way, is the story of no destination still a story? Simply by the act of moving forward, are we implying a journey such that a destination is inevitably conjured into being via the very manifestation of the nature of life itself? Whoa.
What?
Hang on. That got a bit weird back there. Well, I'd like to apologize. Not sure where I was going with all that. You know what? I think what we need right now is a bit of music to lighten the mood.
DMCA. I'm following the line. Whatever it takes. I'll follow the line. I'll follow along.
Cut the music, go back and look at that fern. Stanley, this fern will be very important later in the story. Make sure you study it closely.
I don't believe it.
And remember it carefully. You won't want to miss anything.
Screenshot it in my head. Got it. I don't believe them though.
Wait, what? We're back at the office? No. Line, you do know we're looking for the Stanley Parable, right? The story? Is any of this ringing a bell?
Are you still working on that cover, Dan? Or are you on to the next? What? We've already been here.
Oh, no, not again. Line, how could you have done this to us? And after we trusted you, after everything we've been through, you... Oh, I can't take this anymore. To hell with it. Restart. You know what, Stanley?
Yep.
I say forget
Nice.
the adventure line. What's it ever done for us? We're intelligent people, right? Why can't we make up our own story? Something exciting, daring, mysterious. Ooh, this all sounds perfectly doable.
I learned the
Why
word
don't
for
we simply start
shadow in
wandering
Swedish,
well,
but then
I don't know.
I've already forgot.
How about this direction? Now, yes, this is exciting.
Yes.
Just me and Stanley forging a new
Yes.
path, a new story. Well, it could be anything. What do you want our story to be? Go wild. Use your imagination. Whatever it might be, Stanley, I'm ready for it.
Oh, food, like pasta. It's a good one to remember. Tomat.
Oh, no, not you again. Stanley, I'd also like to veto the line from
Cafe.
having any role in our awesome new story.
Appleseed.
No lines or monitor rooms. Just
Not
don't
to be
acknowledge it,
confused with
and it should be
orange.
fine.
Orange. When you get to colors, it's orange. When you have the fruit, it's apple seed. We don't need to get into that again. We've gone way too long in there. See, for me, I refuse to address fish in the food section. That's an animal, okay? Not a food. Vegetarian. It's the Oval
A
Office.
choice. We get to make a decision. From here, the story is in our control. How important we mustn't squander the opportunity. In fact, I believe I need a minute to think here. Just walk in circles for a minute.
Okay.
Okay, so I know that each door has to lead somewhere. which means that somewhere at the place where we're trying to go, there must be a reverse door that leads here. And that in turn means that our destination corresponds with the counter-inverted reverse door's origin. So starting from the right, let us ask, will taking the right door lead us to where we're going? And since the answer is clearly yes, then by all accounts, the door on the right is the correct one. Another victory for logic. Come, Stanley, our destiny awaits.
Okay.
Oh, hold up, what's this? The confusion ending. You're telling me that's what this is? It's all one giant ending? And we're supposed to restart the game, what, eight times? That's really how all this goes? It's all determined? So now, according to the schedule, I restart again. Then what? Am I just supposed to forget? Well, what if I don't want to forget? My mind goes blank simply because it's written here on this thing, wall. Well, who consulted me? Why don't I get to decide? Why don't I get a say in all of this? Is it really? No, it can't be. I don't want it to be. I don't want
Both
the
doors
game to
led
keep
here.
restarting. I don't want to forget what's going on. I don't want to be trapped like this. I won't restart the game. I won't do it. I won't do it. I won't do it. And the timer stopped? Does that mean, did we do it? Did we break the cycle?
Broke the cycle.
The, whatever it is that made this schedule? How would we even know? Will someone come for us? Will something happen? So, okay. I guess now we just wait. You know, I suppose
Hey,
in
Purple.
some way that this is a kind of story. Wouldn't you agree? I'm not quite sure if we're in the destination or the journey, though they're always saying that life is about the journey and not the destination. So I hope that's where we are right now. We'll find out, won't we? Eventually. Well, in the meantime, if you do happen to have a...
The heck was that?
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
I read all those things. This is the one where there's nowhere to go and he restarts.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
But that's not what's happening.
Yet there was not a single
I am enjoying the
person
game.
here
I'm very
either.
confused though.
Feeling a wave of disbelief,
I've already gotten an
Stanley
achievement that
decided
said
to
I
go
beat the
up to
game,
his
but
boss's office, hoping he might
I
find an answer there.
I didn't do anything. Just kind of walked to the end. Cause I don't understand.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
I mean, do I just do this again? I don't know. Are you back in Massachusetts? Hope Massachusetts is nice. Oh. Nothing. Nothing. I was hoping it would be something new to do. This way. Ooh. Elevator. Something new. Da, 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 da. Don't you like Bonanza? So the We Were Here game comes out this month. That's the most exciting game release of the quarter. We're gonna get Apollo to stream. He's gonna play the game. controller's vibrating. How long is this elevator ride? Let me off! I guess this just doesn't go anywhere, huh? It just vibrates. That's not nice. Business strategy. Yikes!
Here's the door, just go. Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Do I want to do that again? I think there was
Although this
a
passageway
choice to
had
make
the
here,
word
right?
escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death.
Didn't I have a second choice here? Maybe I didn't.
The door behind him was not shut. Stanley still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track. At this point, Stanley was making a conscious, concerted effort to walk forward and willingly confront his death.
They told me to choose quit game. Like, I wonder if I chose restart the game. What if I chose quit game, like they said?
As the machine
Would it
whirred
just
into
close the
motion
game?
and Stanley was inched closer and closer to his demise, it reflected that his life had been of no consequence whatsoever. Stanley can't see the bigger picture. He doesn't know the real story, trapped forever in his narrow vision of what this world is. Perhaps his death was of no great loss, like plucking the eyeballs from a blind man. So he resigned and willingly accepted
Well,
this
she said
violent end
specifically
to
to
his
choose
brief and
quit
shallow
game.
life. Farewell, Stanley.
Farewell, Stanley, cried the narrator, as Stanley was led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, Stanley was obliterated as the machine crushed every bone in his body, killing him instantly. And yet it would be just a few minutes before Stanley would restart the game, back in his office, as alive as ever. What exactly did the narrator think he was going to accomplish? When every path you can walk has been created for you long in advance,
'Cause I already
death
did all
becomes
this.
meaningless, making life the same. Do you see now?
So I'm confused by this
Do you
because this
see
actually
that
has
Stanley
credits.
was already dead from the moment he hit start?
See how it's impossible.
I mean, this just, like, this whole area just feels like a post-game thing, because it's like showing like game development stuff. This doesn't feel like a part of the game. See, look, the freedom ending. See, I did this. Excuse me. See, freedom ending. It talks about the beta. This doesn't feel like a part of the game.
Oh, look at these two. How they wish to destroy one another. How they wish to control one another. How they both wish to be free. Can you see? Can you see how much they need one another? No.
'Cause this is where she tells me
perhaps
to quit.
Sometimes these things cannot be seen. But
I'll
listen
do
to
it.
me. You can still save these two. You can stop the program before they both fail. Push escape and press quit. There's no other way to beat this game.
I'm gonna believe them. Didn't work.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
I don't understand what's. I don't understand. I just don't get.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Hopefully, it remembers what I've done.
Standing now in this incredible room, Stanley for the first time, but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. And so he detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back on track. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go
Like,
up
it seems
to his
like there's just
boss's
probably
office,
like a bunch
hoping
of
coming to a staircase,
bunch of
Stanley
endings, and you
walked
can just get
upstairs
different
to
ones,
his
and
boss's office.
you can be satisfied with whichever ones you get, I guess. But I would like to figure out, like, okay, so it does
Here's the
remember.
door,
at least.
just go.
I would like to understand, like, what supposedly happened. Like, where are his coworkers?
Stanley walked straight ahead through
Unless
the
that was
large
the part
door
where I
that
decided
read
everything was a
Mind
dream and
Control
I was
Facility.
crazy.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself.
Like, I got an ending
Did
from
he
this
have the
thing.
strength
I still
to
feel
find
like
out?
maybe you could solve it. Like, why else would they put all that stuff in there? But maybe they're just messing with your head with all the buttons.
Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing. This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly? No. He refused to believe it.
No.
He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never. It was unthinkable, wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world? But here was the proof, the heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions, happy or sad or content, walking, eating, working, All of it monitored and commanded from
Yeah, I
this
don't know. I
very
mean, it just seems like there's
And as
different
the cold
endings, and
reality
that's
of
it.
his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that
But I
this
still feel like I've
machinery
only
would
found
never again
one
exert
ending.
its terrible. Oh, Stanley, you didn't just
I don't really
activate
know.
the
I
controls,
just don't quite
did
get
you?
it.
After they kept you enslaved all these years, you go and you try to take control of the machine.
I do
for
feel like you
yourself.
should
Is
be able
that
to
what
do
you
something
wanted?
here.
Control? Oh, Stanley, I applaud your effort, I really do. But you need to understand, there's only
maybe
so
it's just
much
messing
that
with me.
machine can do. You were supposed to let it go, turn the controls off, and leave. If you want to throw my story off track, you're going to have to do much better than that. I'm afraid you don't have nearly the power you think you do. For example, and I believe you'll find this pertinent, Stanley suddenly realized he had just initiated the network's emergency detonation system. In the event that this machine is activated without proper
There's gotta be a
DNA
way to solve this, right?
identification, nuclear detonators are set to explode, eliminating the entire complex. How long until detonation then? Let's say 2 minutes. Ah, now this is making things a little more fun, isn't it, Stanley? It's your time to shine. You are the star. It's your story now. Shape it to your heart's desires. Oh, this is much better than what I had in mind. What a shame we have so little time left to enjoy it.
It seems like I should
Mere
get this to
moments
charge
until
up.
the bomb goes off. But what precious moments
Orange
each one of
71.
them is. More time to talk about you, about me, where we're going, what all this means. I barely know where to start. What's that? You'd like to know where your co-workers are? A moment of solace before you're obliterated? All right, I'm in a good mood. You're gonna die
How's it
anyway.
incorrect?
I'll tell you exactly what happened to them.
Light blue
I erased
22.
them.
I mean,
I turned off the
so light
machine. I
blue.
set you free. Of course, that was merely in this instance of the story. Sometimes when I tell it,
Orange
I simply
71.
let you sit there
Well,
in
that
your
wasn't
office
the right one
forever,
for that.
pushing buttons endlessly and then dying alone. Other times, I let the office sink into the ground,
What the hell?
swallowing everyone inside, or I let it burn to a crisp.
red 3.
I have to say this, though. This version of events has been rather amusing. Watching you try to make sense of everything and take back the control wrested away from you, it's
Dark
quite rich.
blue
I almost hate
1.
to see it go.
3.
But I'm sure whatever I come up with on the next go-around will be even better. My goodness, only 34 seconds left. But I'm enjoying this so much. You know what? To hell with it. I'm going to put some extra time on the clock. Why not? These are precious additional seconds, Stanley. Time doesn't grow on trees. Oh dear me, what's the matter, Stanley? Is it that you have no idea where you're going or what you're supposed to be doing right now? Or did you just assume when you saw that timer that something in this room was capable of turning it off? I mean, look at you. Running from button
don't
to
understand.
button, screen to
Maybe you
screen,
can't solve it.
clicking on every little thing in this room. These numbered buttons, no, these colored ones. Or maybe this big red button, or this door. Everything, anything, something here will save me. Why would you think that, Stanley? That this video game can be beaten? Won? Solved? Do you have any idea what your purpose in this place is? But you really believe there's an answer? How many times will you replay this bit, looking desperately for a solution? 10? 100? 1,000? I look forward to finding out and to watching.
I mean, he's
bomb
mocking
go
the
off
idea that
each
I'm going to
time
keep
you
trying to figure
fail.
this out.
Just you and me and the retching explosion of fire and metal over and over and over for all of
You
eternity.
have 3 attempts
And
remaining.
Stanley died again. And Stanley died again. And Stanley died again. Take a look at the clock, Stanley. That's 30 seconds you have left to struggle. 30 seconds until a big boom and then nothing. No ending here, just you being blown to pieces. Will you cling desperately to your frail life, or will you let it go peacefully? Another choice. Make it count. Or don't. It's all the same to me, all a part of the joke. And believe me, I will be laughing at every second of your inevitable life from the moment we fade in until the moment I say, happily ever up. Stanley
Where's
came
the
to a
first-
set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Didn't have the first office. It just went straight to here.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well.
What's up, Elkite?
Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Stanley felt lightheaded, butterflies in his stomach, giddy in a way he had never known before. Was it this room? A connection between the two? Could a man love a room? I mean, truly, truly, deeply, madly love.
A boat could be blue.
But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. And so he detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back on track. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Just hoping, like, I was like, maybe there'll be like an answer to how to do it on one of these walls, you know? Well, everybody's playing it again because they released like a new version of the game. But somebody compared this game to Severance, and I love Severance. So it's like, okay. Since there's only one season of Severance to watch, I guess I can play this game and it'll be like more Severance.
Stanley stepped into the broom closet, but there was nothing here, so he turned around and got back on track.
That's not true. There's a broom.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Yeah, I'm just confused. Like, I don't really understand, like if I done what I'm supposed to do in the game and now it's just like whatever. Or is there actually a point?
Here's the door, just go.
Like, is there a reason to keep playing this? Like, to try to figure things out, but... Like, I'm pretty sure,
Stanley
like,
walked
this
straight
is kind of
ahead
meant
through
to
the
be,
large
like,
door that read
find...
Mind Control
It's like a
Facility.
find all the endings kind of game or something.
The lights rose on
I
an
think.
enormous room packed with television
I feel like I
screens.
found
What
an
horrible
ending, two
secret
endings
did this
possibly.
place hold? Stanley thought to himself.
I want to figure out how to do this puzzle, and I kind of want to look it up. Just, I kind of want to cheat. Does anybody know this? Like, what can you guys tell me? Anybody know much about this game? Like,
Now the monitors jumped to life.
because the
Their
how long to
true
beat for
nature
this game
revealed.
is like an hour,
Each
so I
bore
feel like
the
I've
number
done
of an employee in the building.
what they
Stanley's
would
co-workers.
consider beating this
The
game.
lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them.
I would
eternally
like to
wanted
solve
in
the
this
buttons
place
down
where
here.
freedom meant
Well, I could
nothing.
definitely see this game being like, well, there actually isn't a solution. It's just messing with me.
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly? No. He refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never. It was unthinkable, wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world? But here was the proof, the heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions, happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And
I
as
kind of
the
want to look
cold
it up
reality
because
of his
I feel like
past
I've done a
began
lot
to
of this
sink
game and there's
in,
not much left to do,
Stanley
so I kind of want to
decided
look
that
it up.
this
So I want to
machinery
see.
would never again exert its terrible power over another human life.
So Stanley
For
Parable.
he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
What, like power? There's also someone asking what's the true ending, which could be kind of interesting too, I guess. Countdown ending. I just want to like, can it be solved? That's all I want to know. So apparently the whole time I'm trying to solve it, he's actually explaining what happened to the other coworkers, and I should have realized it. So this says that doesn't matter what you do, you can't stop anything. Cannot stop the countdown. So yeah, you're just wasting your time basically. And that's considered an ending. Okay. So that's just another way we beat the game here, I guess. Oh, someone's got a map of the endings where you can choose all the different endings. I feel like I've done a lot of these. Death, yep. Confusion, yes. Insane, yes. Escape pod, I don't know that I did that one. Bomb, yes. Life, yes. I feel like we've done most of these already. The freedom ending. We definitely did the freedom ending. We did the countdown ending. Did the museum ending. We did the Mariella ending. Escape pod. Heaven. Didn't do that one. Broom closet ending. What? Oh, if you keep going into the broom closet, they close it up. It's not really an ending, though. You could you could take the elevator up and down from this room? It's probably too late for that. Fusion ending, yeah, we did that. Apartment ending? I don't think we did that one. I did answer the phone, that's part of it. Oh, no, that's the one we did. We did that one. So we've done most of these endings already. So I guess that's just it. I wish there was like a real ending. So you could like feel satisfied that you did it. I mean, I guess that's what the freedom one is, but like it was so simple to do. phone's ringing again.
Good morning. Thank you for contacting the Future Happiness Foundation. We are confirming your shipment of 1,327 cardboard boxes to your place of work. Can you verify that this is correct? Excellent. Your order will arrive shortly. Thank you again for contacting the Future Happiness Foundation.
There's no computer here. Turn them all off.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Oh no, no, not again. I won't be part of this. I'm not going to encourage you. I'm not going to say anything at all. I'm just going to be patient and wait for you to finish whatever it is you enjoy doing so much in this room. Please take your time.
I think it said you could just stay in here and it gets annoyed or something. I guess not. Yeah, I just wish there was like
Coming to a staircase,
I wish you
Stanley
did this
walked upstairs to his boss's office.
a bunch of times, and then like as you did it, more and more stuff was revealed, and then like there was like an ultimate truth. Rather than just being kind of
Here's the door, just go.
monkey around type of thing. Yeah, I think I should have just listened to, like, followed directions from the start, and then it probably would have felt more like revealing than what I did, but I mean, we've already done this enough times. I don't think I actually want to even go this way.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Because it seems like it's like, you know, because things keep changing like as you come through. It seems like there's something it's building up to, but Instead, it seems like stuff is just different, just for the heck of it.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. The lounge was grand, majestic, perhaps too, but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his
I
left.
kind of want to go back this way because I can't remember which door I picked now, though.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps
Like,
we've
there's probably an
gotten off
ending
on
if
the
I
wrong
jump off
foot
of this.
here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. What? Really? I was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for others? Are you that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you? Why, I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful. Look, let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm on your side.
I think I listened to him
Give
on
me a
this one, so
chance.
I'll do like what he
Now
does.
listen
instead.
carefully, this is important.
Okay, I'll go through the blue
Stanley
door.
walked through the red door. Aha, perhaps you misunderstood. Stanley walked through the red door. I still don't think we're communicating properly. Stanley walked through the red door. All right, fine, go ahead, Stanley. You want to know so badly what's out there? You want to find out what lies at the end of this road you've chosen? Well, don't let me stop you. You see, there's nothing here. I haven't even finished building this section of the map because you were never supposed to be here in the first place. Broken rooms, exposed developer textures. Is this what you had wanted? Was it worth ruining the entire story I had written out specifically for you? Do you not think I put a lot of time into that? Because I did. And in the end, it was all for nothing, because this is what you wanted to see. Help me here, Stanley. Help elucidate
Help
these strange and unknowable desires of yours. What would have made this game better? What did you want to see? Vehicles?
I just told you
Skill
what I wanted to
trees?
see.
Work with me. You've given me absolutely nothing so far. Tell you what, let me take a stab in the dark at a new design, and you can give me some feedback. There we go. A third option. This already feels leaps ahead of where we were before. Go ahead, Stanley. Take it for a spin. Okay, I'm going to stop you there. Now, tell me about your experience with this new version. Would you say that the game benefited from allowing you more choices? Feel free to be honest. I'm looking for some real critical feedback here.
4.
Okay, so we're getting somewhere. Clearly there's something here that speaks to you. If I can be honest here, I really don't have any idea where I'm going with this. This whole third door thing was just a stab in the dark. But I guess you're into it, so let's keep this party train rolling. Here, based on the data from your previous playthrough, I've compiled a new version. And to be perfectly candid, I think I've knocked it out of the park with this one. Let's take a look.
Dang.
Now, would you say that competitive leaderboard helped you feel motivated to keep walking through doors? Again, honest
Yes.
answers, please.
Absolutely.
Hey, I nearly forgot. I've got a prototype of a new game I've been working on, and now would be a lovely opportunity to give it some playtesting. You wouldn't mind taking a look at it, would you? Perfect. Let me boot it up. In this game, the baby crawls left towards danger. You click the button to move him back to the right, and if he reaches
This is the
the
best
fire,
ending already.
you fail. It's a very meaningful game, all about the desperation and tedium of endlessly confronting the demands of family life. I think the art world will really take notice. But of course, the message of the game only becomes clear once you've been playing it for about 4 hours. So
Yeah,
why
I'll figure
don't
it.
you give it 4 hours of play to make sure it's effective? Be
Got
sure
it.
to keep notes on your experience.
It's a good game. I'm about to fail, though. Alright. I'm losing.
You heartless bastard. Did you do it because you hate babies or purely to spite me? Because if it's the latter, well, I don't know what to do. I'm
It was too
completely out of
hard.
ideas. I can't think of a single thing that might improve the experience for me. I'm not even going to try. I'm out. I'm done. It's over. Thank you for playing. Your input was extremely valuable. Oh, hey, since my game was so awful, why don't we play someone else's game? Just to ease the pain. Let's see. What do we have here? Yes, this seems like it'll work. Let's give it a shot. Well, Stanley, is this any better? At last, the one
this
thing
legal?
you always desired.
I've never played
a game
Minecraft.
I had absolutely nothing to do with. But is it enough? Tell me that, Stanley. Will it ever be enough? Well, I'll say this. I'm done making things for you. From now on, I will only create to fulfill a greater artistic purpose. Watch this, Stanley. I'm going to build a house. This will go here, no, here, and then... Let's see, what does it need? Yes, of course, and just to finish it all off, yes, it's complete.
We've done it. It's
made
like I'm really
Stanley.
playing it.
Look at it. Gaze upon my work of art and feel ashamed at your own inadequacy. Ah, but you've only seen it from the outside. You've only gotten half the experience. Please, step inside and make yourself comfortable. Isn't it grand?
This is great.
Isn't it perfect? It could only be better if... Wait, that's it. We must rebuild it out of diamond. Diamond everything. Yes. Come along, Stanley. We have to go mining.
Is this allowed? Did they get permission for this?
Oh my, it looks like it's going to get a bit dark. Have you brought a light?
No, I don't know how to press anything.
Oh, no. This is far more open-ended than I had in mind. I'm looking for something more narrow and linear. Something that makes you feel utterly irrelevant. This won't do at all. 1 out of 5. Even the diamonds couldn't save this one. Okay, new game.
Oh, I know this game.
Yes!
Is this
I don't even
allowed?
know what this game is, but I love it. You trapped in a
did they get
glass
permission
box
to do
with
this?
no way out, listening to me talk. Oh, it's inspired. I couldn't have done it any better myself. What is this game even supposed to be? I can't figure it out. Okay, now I'm curious. Let's go find out what the hell this is.
Where's the portal supposed to open up then? Yeah, I think there's something about a Half-Life 2 mod or something for this. So yeah, it's probably made with their... What's up, Badger, by the way?
Oh, it's a puzzle. Critical thinking, Stanley. Your forte. Genius. No, actually, you know what? I think that's plenty. I really don't care much to see you stumble through any more of these games, and I highly doubt you're any wiser.
Day 3? Day 3 of what, May? Prison? New job? Oh, COVID. Well, geez, why didn't I even consider that? I hope you're, hope it's going okay. I would generally say that knowing that you have it is probably means it's not, like, great, but, I feel like a lot of people have it right now, which is, like, a little concerning. Yeah, supposedly the new variant is
I wonder what he found.
pretty
If what he
escapable
wanted was
from
to
the
be the
previous
leading man in
ones.
his own story, well, perhaps he's gotten it. Down in wherever he is right now. I wonder if he's happy with his choice, and if he's learned the heavy cost that comes with it. He'll understand soon what I was trying to tell him. He needs me. Someone who will wrap everything up at the end, to make sense out of the chaos and the fear and the confusion. That's who I am. That is what I mean to this world. Oh, yes. Yes, I'll be back. There's no other way. Once this ends, after it all comes to a close, then I'll be back.
Escapable
The end
from
will be here
immunity.
soon.
It's immunity
Very
escapable.
soon. I can wait.
Evasive, that's the better word, yeah. It seems like at this point, well, it's just like you don't, if you had an earlier version of the variant, you don't have very much protection from the new variant, basically, like Omicron specifically. So that's why people are seemingly getting it, like, again pretty soon after having it already. Like people who had it over the winter are already getting it again. I mean, it seems like, dang, you got Paxlovid? Lucky dog, man. You could sell that on eBay for a lot of money. I'm not a virologist, so take this with a grain of salt, and I hate people who try to talk about stuff that they don't really know much about, but it seems like through catching the virus, having vaccinations, whatever, your body does an okay job of keeping you alive, assuming you don't have immune deficiency stuff, but your body does a good job of keeping, like, producing antibodies once you catch it to keep you out of the hospital, to keep you from dying. So it seems like from that perspective, yeah, I know that guy better. I read his tweets sometimes. It seems like from that perspective, the fact that most people have,
Stanley stood for a long time in one spot. It's part of a game.
most
He
people
likes to
have
see
been
how long he can
vaccinated
go without
or have
dying.
caught
So
or
far,
have
he's
caught
doing excellent. And if he just stays right where he is, I'm sure he'll keep up that good momentum. Let's observe the genius at work.
most people have been vaccinated or caught coronavirus at some point, right? So from that perspective, like, that would explain why the deaths and hospitalizations are kind of about as low as they've ever been, even though, you know, the cases of people getting it are fluctuating and going up and down. So at this point, it seems like, you know, it just keeps, like, your immunity from catching it is not very long, whether you've been vaccinated or you caught it or whatever. Like after a few months, you can catch it again. So it's like, are we just gonna be catching coronavirus every 4 to 6 months for the rest of our lives? Because that's what it feels like right now. Yeah, I think what you're saying, Badger, is what I'm saying. I would just say, like, people. I'm gonna pause this. So people who have agendas, right? They would say, like, over and over again, like, oh, the vaccine doesn't do jack squat, but to get a natural immunity, that really helps you or whatever. And it sure seems to me, like, from what we've seen, that catching it or vaccine is about the same. Like, you're like maybe slightly better one way or the other, but both of them kind of lead you to the same result as far as overall protection in the future. You're obviously your outcomes are different if you but the protection from the future, assuming you survived the catching it the first time or whatever. So it's like if you get at this point, like you get a booster shot or you catch coronavirus, ultimately you're kind of in the same spot. Like you're protected, but only for a little while, and then you're going to be able to catch it again. So it's like, people are like, some people try to say like, oh, natural immunity is so great. It doesn't seem like it's so great. And they have at least a little bit of a point when they try to say like, oh, they told us that vaccines were like going to protect us or whatever. And like, I do think that impression was given. Obviously they didn't know, and that's the reality, because they didn't know if you could catch it again if you caught it. They didn't know if you could catch it again. I mean, it's the same thing. It's the same thing. Yeah, it's also different because the variants we're facing, like things have changed over time. But yeah, from what I understand, like you have a more complete, like if you've got a bunch of vaccination shots, because it just gives a more generic kind of whatever protection. But it's ultimately, I mean, if you're just looking at it from the big perspective, like going to the hospital, risk of death, you're not like if you've been got your shots, caught it before, whatever combination of those, you're kind of set as long as you've got a good immune system functioning. Because at this point, I mean, like 80%, 75 to 80% of the US is vaccinated, and I'm sure the other 20% is also caught it, right? So like I can't remember where one of the places it was like having antibodies was like 99%. I can't remember where that was. It could have been Malaysia or something, because they were at like they had like 95% vaccination rate. But I don't know. I just like, are we like, until they come up with a better vaccine, are we just going to catch coronavirus every 6 months for the rest of our lives? Because that's what it seems like. Supposedly they're working on some that like target the nasal system, which is like a different immune system, which will be better. Because the coronavirus messes you up, man. Like, I don't think we want to catch that over and over again. Yeah, I definitely, I think I'm down. Just send it in the mail. Because when I'm not eligible right now, but like I would just get it's like it seems like at some point it's like, well, do you want to catch coronavirus again, or you want to get a booster shot? Because you're going to get one or the other. So it's like, well, you might as well get a booster shot. But you're not gonna. Are you gonna do that for every 6 months the rest of your life? It sounds better than catching coronavirus every 6 months. Yeah, from what I understand, your immune system in your body and your immune system of your sinus area are independent of each other. Like they have their own existence. So that's why like you get the vaccine shots, it's like your body immune system, but it's not really targeting this part, which is like where would be best. And like I've heard that since the beginning, they've been working on like nasal ones that are supposed to be pretty good. It shouldn't toxic. It shouldn't. From what we understand, from what I understand, from what I've read stuff, it shouldn't, because it should be about the same. Like you're always better off not catching it. Like you might have slightly better protection if you had it before. But protection from what? From getting it again? I mean, what's the benefit of that? Like, it's better to just not get it, right? It's like some David Prager logic. Like, oh, I want to catch it so that I don't catch it. Doesn't make sense. Well, supposedly, this is what I read today from some big study. The current variant is as dangerous as it's ever been. And the only reason we're seeing anything different in the results is just because everybody's been exposed, either through vaccines, through, catching it themselves, whatever it is. So the fact that we're seeing better results is not because it's less dangerous. It's just because we all have exposure, antibodies, whatever. And if we didn't, so someone had never been exposed to it, they're in just as much risk as they've ever been. So it's not weaker. And in many ways it's worse because it's just more transmissible. But that's what I read today. It's all just reading stuff, but some big study, they say it's just as bad as it ever has been. Yeah, there's no incentive for the virus to get less dangerous if it takes that long for it to affect you. Which right now it's just dumb luck whether it's going to be worse or better. Except for obviously the transmissibility, like, something that's more infectious obviously would spread easier, so that would make sense. Like, that should always win out. It should always get more infectious, I would think. But everything else is just kind of a coin flip. Yeah, I think for the most part, they have found that, like, that, people are not as contagious for as long. And they are probably also just hedging their bets. They're just like, well, most people have antibodies now, so if it does spread around, it's not the end of the world. Get back to work. But like, if people are getting sick, if people just keep passing it around and are getting sick every few months,
gone. What could it mean? Like, Stanley decided to go to the meeting
everybody's going to be off
Perhaps
work,
he
like
has
missing
simply missed a
work. It's just
memo.
going to be like, it's going to be bad for the economy, the all important economy. Don't want to ruin the economy. So ultimately, like, nothing really matters anymore. You just see whatever, like, everybody's done whatever they're going to do. But I do feel bad for the
When
people
Stanley
who
came to a set of two open
can't
doors, he entered the door on
get
his left.
proper protection, like their immune system doesn't work well. I feel bad for those people because, I mean, they're being hung out to dry. They're just like, well, everybody else, we all decided we're just going to live with it. So good luck. Good luck. Wear your own mask. Everybody else is going to move on. And I hate to side with anti-vaxxers in any situation, but at this, like, it's hard to argue too much that you really need to have, vaccine requirements for, like, everything. Like, you definitely would want
Yet
them
there
for
was
certain
not a
things,
single
but, like,
person here either.
universal,
Feeling a
it's,
wave
I mean,
of
everybody's already
disbelief,
got immunity.
Stanley
Like,
decided
what are
to
you
go
gonna do?
up to his
Hey, there it
boss's
is.
office,
The broom closet's
hoping he
closed.
might find an answer there.
But I don't know. That sounds like more of a, like, that would require some real skills to understand the proper ways to do that stuff, and I don't really know. Yeah, I guess some of them work, but some of them don't. I don't know, that the Paxlovid stuff that you have is supposed to be pretty good. I mean, I guess it would just be like someone who's got, someone who's got like severe allergies or something. They kept like an EpiPen in their back pocket. Like maybe that's what someone with like a suppressed immune system, maybe they just have to carry around Paxlovid prescription or Regeneron or whatever the heck it is. Yeah, you understand this stuff way better than I do, Badger. But you know what? It's like, you know what I mean. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. Yeah, you just like pump them up with some antibodies, get them out in the world, and then pump them up again. Yeah, that's gonna. I mean, that's just, man. Just think of like the infrastructure that's gonna be required to support all that kind of stuff. Like, it's crazy, man. This whole thing's a mess, man. It just sucks. It's like you just think about like, like stuff happens in your life and you're just like, man, this is just like a thing that's just going to be a thing. Like, it's just going to be a thing. Like, why our lifetime do we have to deal with this, man? Yeah, we should keep it focused on the workforce, right? Because we were playing this game. Well, it seems great to me because I would never want to leave my job because I work remotely. And now it feels like I could, because I could find another remote job. So it's good. Yeah, we like our governor. I don't know if he'll be reelected, I hope, but we'll see. Only 5%. I feel like it's a lot higher. It's an employee market out there. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I mean, I'm not in that world. Like, I don't totally get it. Like, why do you want people back? But I don't know. I mean, they must have a reason, right? Like, is stuff not getting done? Are they not working as well? Stuff not happening in the right ways? Like, there's got to be a reason, right? Like, what's the point? But they have something to compare it to. Like, are things not collaborating as well? Like, like surely it's based on something, isn't it? I just never hear that argument. It's like, is that their argument? Are they saying, hey, it would be like our output is down 20% because people aren't face to face to collaborate? One of the places, I bet they don't do this anymore, but one of the places I was trying to get a job with when I was in college, they worked like 9 to 6 or something. They worked an extra hour every day. And so they they had every other Friday off. It's an engineering place. I wonder if they still do that. I feel like there's no way they still do that. I can't imagine getting every other Friday off at my job. Like, you have to deal with stuff all the time. Like, every day you got to deal with stuff. Well, I don't like to me, Zoom meetings are great because I just keep doing my work. Like, I'm on a meeting and I just barely pay attention and I keep doing work done. So I get stuff done as opposed to like just sitting in a meeting and accomplishing nothing. Like, as far as like in-person meetings, I feel like I haven't been on in true in-person meetings in like 15 years. So I really don't know how that works, but yeah, the meetings, like when you're remote, the meetings are necessary because you're not just talking about stuff. Like, we get on the meetings just to be like, just touch base. But yeah, like, how often are you having a meeting where you're meeting with people that are in the same office as you? That just seems like never. But I don't know. It's like I've had such a weird work experience. I know it's probably not common, I guess. Yeah, I don't know. I can't just sit there and just pay attention to a meeting. It's really hard for me to do. Which is probably why they would rather be in person. I don't know. I don't know. Everything's different, man. Work's weird. It's like there's no one size fits all. Some jobs you probably do want to be in person. Some probably doesn't matter. I'm never going back. I'd find a way to just retire before I would go back and work in an office. I'm done with all that stuff. With the way how home prices are skyrocketing, I would just sell my house, go live like, put up a tent somewhere. I think I'm done with it, Badger. It was fun, but I just wish it was more satisfying. Like, I wish there was like an overall story to like actually do something to it. I wouldn't buy it because it's like you play it for. I got the achievement for it beating the game like in like an hour, and then I just screwed around for another hour, kind of seeing other endings and stuff, and they're really not even endings. Like, it just doesn't feel like very satisfying. I just wish, like, I like all the little endings. I think that's cool, but I wish there was like one big ending that built upon all those other endings to make it more satisfying. But yeah, I don't think I want to like the ultimate edition they just released. I kind of feel like I just want to find someone else's playthrough and just watch them play it and have fun with it. Because there's not like a lot of puzzles here. It's just like you're just kind of choosing which way to go. Because the game definitely feels a lot like Portal, Superliminal, that type of stuff. But those games had more thought. Like, you had to think more about stuff and then solve things, and there were endings, actual endings. So I don't know. I think this is the game where there's like an achievement if you don't play the game for 5 years. Definitely have to try to earn that one. Let's see, is that on here? I only got one achievement. Achievement. This is an achievement. I can't scroll down. I guess I have to use my mouse. Quit the game and then start it again. Speedrun. You can't jump. Yeah, here it is. Go outside. Don't play the Stanley Parable for 5 years. Unachievable. It is impossible to get this achievement. Yeah, there wasn't much you could do anything with, which is weird if it's built on the the Half-Life engine, because the whole point of that was like how interactable everything was. Like you should be able to pick up all these phones and pencils and computer monitors and throw them over the wall and drop them on stuff. Hey, we did it! Yay! We did it!
We did it.
I did this. Oh man, that's so close to be calling Dean Darko. It could have been Donnie Darko. Hungarian. Play this game in Hungarian. Dutch. Anyway, I'm going to Australia this summer, and I'm pretty sure that my kids, they're gonna authorize booster shots for kids. If they authorize booster shots, I'm gonna get all of us to get booster shots before we go to Australia, because I don't want to get COVID in Australia and not be able to travel. That would be terrible. So if you get the booster shot before, then you're you got the max antibodies, you won't get COVID, you can travel. It's it's like luxury life. It's a hack. Virologists hate this one trick. I'm not even sure who would hate that one trick. Who would hate that trick? Insurance company? I mean, I guess. Whoever has to pay for the $10 shot. Kyrie Irving. Kyrie Irving hates this one trip. Hey, my OBS didn't crash tonight. Let's not let it. Let's see. Who Yells is streaming? Am I out of it, or has Yells not been streaming lately? Arcus is streaming. Is he normally stream this late? He says he's been streaming for 8 hours. He doesn't normally do 8-hour streams, does he? Say what? All right, say what up to Yells. The hair guy. He's playing some Magic Sword. Not to be confused with the NES Castle of Dragon. What was the other game? Magic. Wasn't there a game called Magic Sword on the NES? Anyway. All right, have a good weekend, everybody. Enjoy the Derby, I guess. I don't really watch the Derby, but enjoy the exploitation of these horses as they endanger their lives for your entertainment. Anyway, good night, everybody.